What if the very device you wear on your face becomes your most powerful AI? And imagine, what if the way the entire world is mapped just changes, like overnight? It sounds a bit like something out of a futuristic movie, doesn't it?
It really does. But what's truly captivating is that this isn't some far-off science fiction. It's the incredibly fast-paced reality of artificial intelligence unfolding right now. And, two of the biggest tech players are really leading the charge here.
Exactly. So in this deep dive, we're unpacking some truly fascinating recent signals from giants like Meta and Google. We're going to look at their bold and sometimes, well, contrasting visions for AI and the devices they think will deliver it to you, and also how they're navigating the complex landscape of global regulation. It's quite a tangle.
Yeah, it is. Our sources for this are drawn from top AI news outlets. We're looking into Meta's big shifts on superintelligence and hardware, Google's breakthrough in planetary mapping, which is just amazing. And like you said, the different paths they're taking on EU AI regulation.
Right. And our mission here is simple. Extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from all this. We want to help you understand the cutting edge of AI, what it means for your future, without getting buried in jargon or overload.
Yeah.
So let's just jump right in.
Okay, let's kick things off with Meta. Mark Zuckerberg's got this intriguing concept, personal superintelligence. He sees AI designed, specifically to help individuals achieve their personal goals, which is a pretty striking contrast to what he sees as the industry focusing on just automating all valuable work. But what really got my eye is that this vision comes alongside a signal, maybe a significant one, that Meta might be rethinking its big commitment to open sourcing its best AI models. What's the significance of that potential shift?
Oh, that's potentially huge. It could have profound implications for the whole AI ecosystem. I mean, Meta has historically positioned its llama models as a key differentiator, right? Aiming to be the most advanced in the industry by making them open source. That was their angle against competitors like OpenAI, xAI, Google DeepMind, who mostly keep their cards close to their chest. Yeah, they keep their models close. And Zuckerberg himself even said last year he expected future llama models to be the most advanced out there.
Exactly.
So if Meta, this longtime champion of open source AI, is now maybe thinking about closing off its top models for superintelligence, what does that tell us? Is this the start of an AI walled garden era, especially when their business model isn't even directly tied to selling AI access the way others are?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, Zuckerberg has always left himself a little wiggle room. He did say before he wouldn't open source if it's not responsible. But this new phrasing about novel safety concerns for superintelligence feels, well, pointed. And it lines up with Meta's really aggressive push into AGI, artificial general intelligence. We're talking AI that could potentially do any intellectual task a human can, maybe better.
Yeah.
You see that massive $14.3 billion investment in Scale AI.
Yeah, and they even acquired Scale's founder and CEO.
Right. And they restructured their AI efforts under this new unit, Meta Superintelligence Labs. There are even reports, that they paused testing on their latest llama model, codenamed Behemoth, supposedly to focus on developing a closed model instead.
Wow, okay. That definitely sounds like a major strategic pivot. But then Meta puts out this clarifying statement saying they're still committed to open source, but they expect to train a mix of open and closed models. Is that just, covering their bases? Or is a mix a genuine nuanced strategy? And what would that actually look like for us?
It probably reflects a pragmatic middle ground. They've seen the huge advantages of open sourcing llama, building a community, fostering innovation. That's a real asset. But as they push towards genuine superintelligence, the stakes get much, much higher, both capability-wise and potentially safety-wise. So a mix lets them keep nurturing the open source community, which is strategically valuable, while reserving their most cutting-edge, maybe most disruptive, models for a more controlled, closed environment. It gives them flexibility, control over their core IP as they chase that AGI frontier.
Okay, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about how this AI gets delivered. Zuckerberg has been incredibly vocal, basically claiming that glasses are the ideal form factor for AI. He even made this really bold statement, didn't he? Something like, if you don't have AI glasses in the future, you'll be at a pretty significant cognitive disadvantage.
He did. It's a staggering claim.
It really is. It implies not just convenience, but a fundamental shift in human capability. What exactly does he mean by that? What are the sort of deeper societal implications there?
Well, his reasoning is pretty straightforward on the surface.
Hmm.
AI built into glasses can see what you see throughout the day, hear what you hear, and talk to you. It's about having this always-on, contextually aware AI assistant that understands your world as you experience it moment to moment. And if our own cognitive function becomes augmented by an AI like that, constantly feeding us info, processing data, helping make decisions, it fundamentally changes what thinking even means, potentially. And yes, the implication is those who can't, or choose not to, adopt it, might find themselves struggling in a world moving at the speed of AI-augmented thought.
And it's not just talk, right? Meta's current smart glasses, the Ray-Ban Meta, the Oakley ones, they've actually seen some unexpected success. People are using them for music, photos, videos, even interacting with Meta AI about what's around them. I read revenue from the Ray-Ban Metas more than tripled year over year.
That's right, tripled. It shows there's an appetite.
Yeah. But then you look at the Reality Labs division, the losses are just staggering, almost $70 billion since 2020. What's the long-term justification for sticking with that beyond Zuckerberg's personal vision? Is there a believable path to profitability or some strategic edge that makes burning all that cash worthwhile?
Well, the success of the current glasses, even without full augmented reality, is a strong signal. It suggests consumers are open to AI in this form factor. Building on that, Zuckerberg believes adding displays like in their next-gen Orion AR glasses with holographic views will unlock huge value.
Ah, connecting to the metaverse vision.
Exactly. It ties directly into his broader metaverse idea, where glasses seamlessly blend physical and digital worlds. The goal is for them to eventually become the primary computing platform, replacing the smartphone, essentially. So yes, the losses are massive, but he's framing it as this foundational, long-term bet on the future of AI and computing itself. He's looking way down the road.
It does make you think. I remember when Google Maps first came out, that felt revolutionary. Now they're talking about a real-time pulse of the whole planet from space. It's incredible. But back to devices. While glasses seem plausible, lots of people wear them, they're socially okay. The AI device landscape is actually pretty diverse. We've seen other ideas pop up. What are some of the alternatives and how do they stack up?
You're absolutely right. It's definitely not a one-horse race. OpenAI, for instance, made that huge $6.5 billion acquisition of Jony Ive's startup. They're planning to build new consumer devices for AI interaction, though the specifics are still pretty hush-hush.
Right, the Jony Ive factor is interesting.
Very. And then you have other startups experimenting with things like AI pins. Remember Humane's recent challenges?
Oh yeah, that didn't go so well initially.
No. And then there are pendants from companies like Limitless and Friend. These aim for more ambient AI assistance, often without needing a screen, capturing conversations, providing summaries, that sort of thing. Each form factor has its own pros and cons: natural interaction, social acceptance, actual utility. It's all being tested.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Are glasses really the ultimate answer, or is the next truly transformative AI device something we can't even picture yet? Kind of like how no one really imagined the smartphone before it arrived. So wide open question. Okay, let's pivot now from personal AI in your glasses to the planetary scale. Google's AlphaEarth Foundations. You mentioned the challenge, just the sheer volume and complexity of Earth observation data from satellites. It's disparate, constantly updating, hard to use effectively. What's the core breakthrough here with AlphaEarth Foundations?
Right, that's precisely the problem AlphaEarth Foundations tackles.
Yeah.
Google describes this new AI model as functioning like a virtual satellite.
Right.
Its core superpower is integrating petabytes of this Earth observation data. And petabytes, just for perspective, that's thousands of terabytes.
Huge amounts of data.
Massive. It integrates all that into a unified digital representation, or embedding. But think of it like this. It turns all that raw, messy satellite imagery into a perfectly organized, searchable library. A library of digital fingerprints that computers can instantly understand and compare across different data types and times.
Okay, that's fascinating. But can you break down how that really changes global mapping and monitoring? What's the practical difference for, say, a conservationist working in the field or a government agency tracking environmental change?
It fundamentally changes the game by solving two huge problems: data overload and inconsistent information. Before, analyzing this data was incredibly complex, often needing specialists for each different satellite type. AlphaEarth Foundations weaves together info from dozens of public sources: optical images, radar, 3D laser mapping, even climate simulations.
Well, meshed together.
Exactly. It analyzes land and coastal waters in precise 10 by 10 meter squares and tracks changes over time with amazing precision. But the real breakthrough, the aha moment, is its efficiency. It creates these highly compact summaries. They require something like 16 times less storage space than summaries from other AI systems.
Wow, 16 times less storage.
Yeah, which drastically cuts analysis costs. And that allows scientists to create detailed, consistent maps of our world on demand, something basically impossible before.
That efficiency sounds like a total game changer. So can you give us some concrete examples? Where is this already making a real difference?
Absolutely. The real-world applications are already proving incredibly valuable. For instance, it can peer through persistent cloud cover to detail agricultural plots in Ecuador. That's crucial for monitoring food security. It's mapping complex surfaces in Antarctica, an area notoriously hard to image in clear detail, helping climate scientists track ice changes.
Antarctica. Okay.
Yeah. And it can make variations in Canadian farmland use visible, things you wouldn't see with the naked eye, offering new insights for optimizing agriculture.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, you mentioned Google Earth Engine. This data set, the satellite embedding one, it processes over 1.4 trillion footprints a year.
Trillion, yeah. And it's already being used by major organizations globally. The UN Food and Agriculture Organization, Map Biomas in Brazil. This data helps them classify unmapped ecosystems, figure out where to prioritize conservation, optimize restoration efforts, is being used to combat biodiversity loss and inform strategies in critical places like the Amazon rainforest.
That's incredibly powerful.
It really is. Tasso Azevedo from Map Biomas actually said this data set can transform the way our team works. And Google's vision doesn't stop there. They want to combine AlphaEarth Foundations with general reasoning LLMs like Gemini in the future.
So you could, what, ask Gemini to analyze deforestation trends using this data?
Imagine asking it. Analyze deforestation in this part of the Amazon over the last decade, factor in weather patterns, and predict the impact on biodiversity. AlphaEarth provides the foundational data. Gemini provides the reasoning and analysis on top. Potentially very powerful insights.
Okay, now let's shift to the regulatory maze. AI regulation. Specifically, the European Union's General Purpose AI Code of Practice. It's a voluntary framework, right? Meant to help developers get ready for the upcoming EU AI Act. What's really notable here is how Google and Meta are taking such different approaches.
Yeah, it's quite the contrast. Google confirmed it will sign the code.
Yeah.
And their commitment came just days before these new rules for general-purpose AI models with systemic risk go into effect August 2nd. So it suggests they're willing to, engage with the EU framework.
The Meta.
Meta made a very clear decision not to sign the code earlier this month. They actually characterized the EU's implementation as overreach and said Europe was heading down the wrong path on AI. So yeah, a really clear divergence between two of the biggest players.
Interesting. So even though Google is signing, Kent Walker, their president of global affairs, still voiced some reservations. What were those concerns? What's the actual risk they see in the EU Act and code for AI development in Europe?
Well, Walker basically said the Act and the code risk slowing Europe's development and deployment of AI. Specifically, they're worried about things like potential departures from EU copyright law, bureaucratic steps that might slow approvals, or requirements that could expose trade secrets.
Okay, so practical business and innovation concerns.
Exactly. These aren't just minor complaints. They reflect fundamental worries that the regulatory burden might actually stifle innovation, that it could make Europe less competitive in the global AI race, potentially pushing that cutting-edge development to happen elsewhere.
That's always the balancing act with regulation, isn't it? Innovation versus oversight. So what does signing this voluntary code actually involve? What are companies agreeing to, and how does it connect to the bigger EU AI Act?
Right, so by signing the voluntary code, companies agree to follow certain guidelines. Things like providing updated documentation about their AI tools, making sure they don't train AI on pirated content, and complying if content owners ask for their works not to be used in data sets.
Basic transparency and compliance stuff?
Pretty much. And this code is really a stepping stone towards the main event.
Yeah.
The EU AI Act itself. The Act uses a risk-based approach. It outright bans unacceptable risk, uses cognitive behavioral manipulation, social scoring systems, stuff deemed too dangerous.
Okay.
Then it defines high-risk uses. This includes things like biometrics, facial recognition, AI used in education or employment decisions. For these high-risk applications, developers face specific obligations registering their systems, meeting strict standards for risk management, data quality, transparency, and human oversight. The whole idea is to build public trust and ensure safety while still trying to foster innovation. Though, as we just heard, that balance is definitely being debated.
Wow. Well, we have certainly covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From Meta's evolving thoughts on superintelligence and their big bet on glasses as the future AI device, to Google's absolutely groundbreaking work mapping our planet with AlphaEarth and these critical ongoing debates about how to regulate AI's future, especially in Europe.
Yeah, understanding these shifts, these different strategies and technologies is really key. It helps you stay informed about the tech that's going to increasingly shape our daily lives. From what we wear on our faces to how we understand the very planet we live on. These aren't abstract concepts anymore. They're becoming the gears turning our future.
Absolutely. And it really leaves us, and you listening, with a big question to think about. As AI becomes more and more deeply woven into our lives, whether it's through the devices we use every day or the systems that help us understand global changes, how do we make sure? How do we, as individuals, as a society, ensure that its development truly serves humanity's best interests? How do we strike that crucial balance between pushing innovation forward rapidly and ensuring responsible, thoughtful oversight?